Alright, so in our last episode of Movie Analysis Star Wars Sequels Edition, we talked about how badly Rey was written. This episode, we'll be talking about how our original characters were ruined. Spoiler warnings for this: Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, and The Last Jedi. This is part 2 in a series that explains the flaws of the Star Wars sequels. Anyway, without further ado, this is where the fun begins. Let's talk about Luke, since if you look at it, they botched up his character. I'm just going to assume that you already have prior knowledge of the entire Star Wars franchise, otherwise it's going to be complicated. So Luke Skywalker was the one that saw light in Darth Vader. Luke did fight Vader a few times, but that was part of his character development. In Return of the Jedi, he was using words to attempt to bring Vader back from the dark side before the entire lightsaber fight began. The final fight did have some mixed reactions, but overall, Luke did see some light in Vader. Here's a clip of me analyzing the final fight. Okay, so basically, here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be analyzing this fight scene from YouTube, just because it's the easiest way for me to record it, because I don't have to skip past too much stuff. I'm keeping the audio off, mainly for audio problems. Sorry if the mic quality isn't as good as how it usually is. It's just that, I guess just the main issue is I'm using my external mic right now. So basically, I think if you just scrub through all this, Palpatine is kind of manipulating Luke. At the start, we can kind of see, Luke, he is fighting on the offense. Let's take a look at this. So he's definitely, you can clearly see he's fighting on the offense with the intention to hurt Vader. He kicks Vader. Moment of realization is kind of right here. He realizes. Palpatine is giving his commentary. He's saying give in to the dark side, or this is your journey to the dark side and all that. So he's using his commentary and all that. It makes Luke realize his mistake. So then he switches to playing defensive. Yep, he shuts the lightsaber off right here. If we just kind of scrub through this real quick. Yeah, he's clearly playing defensive right here. He's just trying to block. Vader is the one that's kind of trying to kill him. Maybe not exactly trying to kill him, but you know what I mean. Trying to hurt him, maybe. And obviously there's nothing wrong with this. Seriously, by all means, defend yourself. He has the high ground right now. Yeah, this whole thing's, that falls. This is when Vader is kind of manipulating Luke by bringing Leia into the equation and all that. He's saying that maybe Leia could turn to kind of trying to manipulate Luke right here. You can kind of see on his face that he's just he's internally struggling right now. Yeah, okay. So it's right here when he says, if you want to turn to the dark side forever, yep, and then Luke decides to strike. Now he's playing on the offense. Mainly because I don't even think he's probably not even thinking at this point. I'm gonna make an educated guess on that. He cares a lot for his friends, so and he's willing to protect them. I'm positive that he does see good in Vader. I mean, at Vader's death scene, which I'm going to bring in. I'm going to look at that in a moment. This is definitely him fighting on the offense. And all that. This is near the end. At the very end of the movie, before Vader does flatline, Luke does kind of see the good in Vader. So I'm just gonna skip to when I'm analyzing this. Okay, so here we are at this at Vader's death scene. I'm not gonna be playing any of the audio. I just have to I decided to just listen to it real quick, just so I need a refresh on the lines. But basically, he does kind of see the good in Vader. So around right here, Luke at this point, he's kind of I can't leave you, I need to save you. Vader's you already have. Luke still wants to save Vader and all that, but he does realize the good in him. And all that. Even if we do look at the celebration scene, which I'm not going to go into because that's probably a lot of copyrighted material at this point. It is true, obviously, you can kind of see, I don't think they actually talk. Anakin and Luke didn't really talk. You can kind of see the looks on their faces that, they kind of, accepted all that. Luke, in the end, this scene, just watch the scene, because I'm not going to show the full scene because of copyright, obviously. But seriously, just watch the scene, and you will probably realize that Luke, in the end, did see the good in Vader. Although he was definitely struggling a little bit, he ultimately saw good in Vader. So that's basically this entire analysis. I just needed to, completely prove all this because it's going to make my overall analysis a bit easier. So, Vader died because he became Anakin again. Okay, not exactly that, but basically, when he became Anakin again, he threw Palpatine down the reactor shaft while Palpatine was electrocuting Luke. Because Anakin was weakened and exhausted by fighting Luke, he was being affected by the electricity while carrying Palpatine, which resulted in his death. I'm gonna say at most 5 minutes later. What I do want to say right now, Luke could actually be a Mary Sue since Vader was actively fighting them, and he could have been weakened. That is something that you can assume. But we need to realize that Vader was literally relying on his suit for him to breathe. Why exactly is that? Well, watch the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight on in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that outcome was not good for Anakin or the rest of his life. So anyway, Luke actually forgave Anakin/Vader and wanted to save him. For the record, Luke is not actually a Mary Sue. I was just saying that is a counter argument that some people could use. Take a look at this meme. The QR code is just a link to the source for it. I also have it linked in the description because I do not want to steal this person's work. This is the argument that I'm using to prove why they botched up Luke's character. Vader legit had a high body count, was in line with Palpatine, was responsible for destroying an entire planet, which adds to the body count, and he was definitely corrupt. Kylo, on the other hand, was probably like a teenager or something who had no body count or criminal background, and Luke goes for the kill. I mean, look, Kylo was having dark thoughts or something. That's literally it. Maybe you could, talk to him or something, take him to therapy? Maybe the fact that Luke went for the kill for something as stupid as that, for something as minor as that, is what influenced Kylo to turn to the dark side. The Luke Skywalker that I know, or at least everyone else does know as well, he would have done what he did with Vader with Kylo. Maybe they would have discussed it, done something logical, like explaining why he shouldn't give in to the darkness. Maybe be warm and nurturing. Maybe you shouldn't, freaking attempt murder. That is so out of character. Now we need to go into the aftermath of the situation because we are not done with Luke yet. Why the hell would he just give up and run off when there's literally a Vader wannabe out there? A guy who at this point just has a body count because of Luke's poor choice to attempt murder on him. Luke got involved with the rebellion during the original trilogy because there was a threat to innocence in other aspects, and to be fair, he didn't really have anything else to look for. This is the same situation since the sequels are basically copying the original trilogy. I get that Luke is probably old, but he still has the power to do what he can to stop Kylo, maybe negotiate with him or do whatever he needed to do to bring back Kylo and stop this new Empire wannabe. Knowing this guy's character, he wouldn't have attempted murder. He would not have attempted to murder Kylo when he had dark thoughts, and he would not have ran away from the conflict. That is enough for Luke. I need to make a couple comments on realism for the other characters as well. So we had a voiceover role for Anakin, Ahsoka, and others. Let's be real, if we're going to honor the Chosen One prophecy, Anakin would have fought Palpatine as a Force ghost rather than just motivate Rey. If we're truly realistic, Palpatine wouldn't have even returned and he would have died in, Return of the Jedi, because that's realistic, because, the Chosen One. I seen a YouTube video where someone edited so it was like Anakin defeating Palpatine rather than Rey. I've acknowledged that the entire sequel trilogy is contradictory anyway, but at least have Anakin and everyone come on screen rather than have a voiceover role. I will say that when I watched this in theaters, I got excited as soon as I heard Anakin and Ahsoka's voice. I love the prequels and Clone Wars, and again, like I said in the last episode, Anakin and Ahsoka are my favorite characters. Actually, the fact that the ghost didn't even come on screen and actually do stuff kind of ruins their character as well, since, they're capable of that. That scene in The Rise of Skywalker was single-handedly the best and the worst of that film. Good, because we heard our older characters, but bad since they didn't do anything and were essentially ruined. As always, this is just me making fun of the script since, the actors did their best with what material they got. So, it's not like I can't blame them. Honestly, I think these actors are fine. I did not make this video to offend anyone who likes the sequel since it was probably made for entertainment anyway. I also think it was a cash grab, but they probably just went for entertainment, and honestly, I think there was a time where I was entertained by it. Not anymore, but, I respect what you think about the sequels. This was part 2 of a series pointing out the flaws of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned in for episode 3.